Okay, so we will discuss how to do this during the lecture class. Okay, so if you remember from last week lecture, okay, what you have done in your assignment, for example, first thing that you have to do, you have done actually should be, you have done the basic type already. Okay, this is what you did already last week. Also, you may have done free types for your assignment. And maybe some of you have done axiomatic definition. This one, not everyone, definition here is any only. Okay, any. This is what you actually done. Okay, in the lecture last week also, I informed you that after axiomatic definition is what we call as state space schema. Okay, state space schema. So state space schema actually what is actually do, okay, what actually the main use of your state space schema. First, the name of your state schema. For your assignment, you use module name. Your module that you choose, that is actually the state space schema name. Okay, so what are actually you do in your state schema? State space schema, this is the starting state. So your variable declarations are all the variables that you declare, that are declared inside the declaration part. Okay, will communicate with database data. Okay? See ya. Okay? I make it. Yeah. The margin listening. Yeah? So this is what actually we have done. Yeah? So variables that are declared inside the declaration part of your state space schema will communicate with database data. Okay, so that is actually what you have to remember.
They have
Banana.
no, I mean wallet.
Wallet,
Can I have a look?
Wallet, anybody? Saw the wallet?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you go the class before your class here. You will see it here.
Thank you very much.
Okay? And then, okay, in your, maybe some of you girls just try. I'll show you the code again. 245900. 245900 is your code for today. Okay? 245900. 245900. Okay, your code for today. Okay? So the next one, this is inside your declaration part. Means that you are going to communicate with database data. Whatever variables that you add in your declaration part of your state space will communicate with database data. Yeah, remember that. And then in the predicate part will be your general constraints. Or conditions. Okay, constraints or conditions, okay, will be in the predicate part. Okay, will be in the predicate part. So you list down all your constraints, all your conditions inside the predicate part of your state space. Okay, so just remember that. So, the next step after your state space will be initial state. Okay? Where what you are doing in your initial state will be to initialize all the variables from the state space schema. Okay? Initialize all the variables from the space schema. Okay, so that is actually the initial state. Okay, the initial state is to initialize all the variables from the state space schema. Okay, so after you have done the initial state, okay, remember from last week lecture, after you have done the initial state, then you list down all your operation schema. Okay, operation schema consists of two. Remember what are those two? Remember not from last week? Two operation schema. Two different type of operation schema. One is, remember or not? No, confident answer. One is the query schema, query state schema. Another one is change state schema. Yeah. So for query schema, you have to use symbol. We call as Z notation symbol. Okay. For change state schema, we have to use the symbol also. We call as delta symbol. Okay, how to get the symbol here? This one, this is symbol. Okay. So until here, from last week lecture, you have to know up to here already. Okay, up to here. So meaning that our discussion for our question for today's tutorial will be until here. Okay, even though during lecture I haven't finished discuss the exercise, but from here we will actually practice also under this one. Okay, so this is what you should know. Your knowledge up to Z schema will be up to here already about change state schema already. Okay, so now let's look at our tutorial question. Okay, can see here. So our tutorial question, okay, is actually to model a simple system for car parking system. So in this question, we are not going to gather a lot of information yet. Your assignment, yes, you have to gather a lot of information. But for this exercise, I will just gather information car only. So inside there, doesn't matter it's ID, model, or plate, or whatever, I don't care. I just say car only. Okay, so I just want to get the information car only. So what I'm going to do for tutorial 4 is just to know what car entered the car park, what car left the car park. Like here lah, like assuming the guard there is your system lah, to calculate, to actually know what car enter, what car left the car park. Okay, then these area are actually the parking area, for example. So in the parking area, okay, we have limitation. You know the slot, the parking slot, right? We have, so that is the limitation. So when you see this, okay, we are going to model car parking system, okay, where we are going to record about car, enter the car park, okay, car that enter the car park or leave the car park. This is our system. Just these two. We are not going to consider other things because this is just to start on how to do the operation schema. Okay, okay. So the car park has a limited number of spaces called capacity. Okay, so we have a limited number of spaces called capacity. Okay, so what we are going to record is that when the car enters or leaves the car park, we are going to record about the car will be updated accordingly. Okay, means we are going to update our database data. Okay, so that is the scenario, a simple scenario to practice on how to start with Z schema. Okay, so now, given to us basic type. Okay, basic type for car here. Car here. So when you see that just now, I say the first one is basic type. So we have this information already. Okay, so we were given the basic type. So we have in this question basic type. But in this question, no free type. So okay, no free type means the second one don't have. Okay, then the third one, axiomatic definition, if any. So in this question, we have capacity. Okay, we have the capacity to show the maximum number of spaces. For example, in this question, we took 100. Okay, that means the car park will have 200 parking only. Cannot exceed that parking lah. Okay, because for our campus, understood lah. All of us are double parking lah. Okay, most of us are double parking because not enough. But in normal car parking system, normally cannot double parking. You cannot park in front of other people. Let's say you go to shopping complex, you cannot park in front of other people. So it means there are specific capacity for that. Okay, so we will assume that kind of capacity lah. Okay, so we have the axiomatic definition. So it means that if you refer to this, we have already axiomatic definition. Okay, the next step is state space schema. The fourth one, yeah, state space. So in this question, we were given also state space schema called car park system, given to us. So we don't have to do it again. Okay, so what is car park? What is the state space? It's actually for you to communicate with your database data. Whatever variable that you declare in your state space schema, those variables are actually variables that you are going to use to communicate with your database data. Okay, remember that. Those variables that you declare here will communicate with your database data. So, if you look at this state space schema, car park system, this is the name of the state space schema. You have one variable here. Okay? Your variable here named cars. So meaning that your variable here, cars, is going to communicate with your database data. Okay? Going to communicate with database. So the type for car here is car lah. So it doesn't matter it's ID or model, whatever. We don't care about that. We just say car only. Okay? So the information inside there, we don't look lah. Means that you just have one specific data called car. Okay, in this case, because I don't want to go in detail about car here. Because for your assignment, yes, you have to go in detail. But for this one, we just consider one. So don't care what other information inside there. Okay, and then declaration just now, I put in the notes here. Variables that are declared will communicate with database. So our car just now, right? Car just now is used to communicate with database. But in the predicate part, is general constraints or condition. Okay, general constraint or condition, meaning that number of cars here cannot be less than capacity. Means less or equal. Means that total car in our database cannot exceed the capacity. Our capacity is 200. So in our database also, maximum that we can have must be 200 also. Okay, that is what it means by this statement. So number of data in our database cannot exceed the capacity. So capacity is 200 in this question, meaning that total number of cars here must be maximum 200. Okay, sometimes different car park. Okay, sometimes different car park. So here we have this. But if let's say your system here is to show different car. Let's say this is car park A. Now you want to say about car park B in front of the complex sukan there. You want to say that is another car park B. So here maybe 200. This area we say 200 car park. There maybe 500 for example. That in front of car park complex sukan you can have 500 cars for example. So the capacity different already, right? Because if let's say car park A 200. Car park B 500, then capacity contradict already lah. So you can have another one. Let's say you don't want to have this. Okay, I delete this one. I don't want to have this. Okay, I can have another one by using this bar. Okay, this bar. This is this one. This is the just now. Let's see, I do that. Okay, so I want to have another one. Or I put or. Okay, if I don't want to have capacity, I use this one. I can have something like this. Like that. Okay, meaning that if I want to talk about car parks, okay, this one I know a specific car park that I am going to monitor or I am going to model. So I have a specific value. But if let's say you have many different type of car park in your system, then different capacity, okay, then you can put something like this without the total value. Okay, so it's either this or this one. Okay, so either this or this one. Okay, so either with the data, with the constraint, this is the constraint, or without the constraint. So the bar here is not from the keyboard, it's actually this one, this bar. Okay, this bar on top, not from the keyboard. The keyboard also you have bar, right? So don't use that bar. Okay, use this bar. Okay, this is for axiomatic definition without the constraint. Okay, so it's either this or either this. Okay, so we say that total number of cars less or equals to capacity. What it means here, in our database, because cars here communicate with our database data, so we are telling that total number of cars in our database cannot exceed the capacity. So in our case, it's either we use this capacity or this capacity lah. It's either one. Cannot have both, Cannot have both. You have to choose either this or this. Okay? So if you want to have the value, you use this. If you don't want to have value, you use this. Okay? So we are telling that total number of cars in our database cannot exceed the. Okay. So this is our state space schema. So we have done with our state space schema here. Then the next one we have to do initial state. For your assignment, you have to do initial state. So how to start with your initial state? So you see, referring to the specification, then you do Z schema. So the first one that you have to do is initial state. Okay, where the car park is empty. Okay, so how to show the car park is empty? So we have to do initial state. So initial state, when you see the statement that I put here, to initialize all the variables from state space schema. Okay, from the state space schema. So our state space schema here, the name of our state space schema is car park system. This is our state space schema. Okay, so we are going to initialize all the variables from our state space. How many variables we have here? How many variables do we have in the car park system here? How many variables? What do you think? How many variables are declared in your state space here?
2.
How many variables? Declaration is not only one only. Okay. Capacity is variable also, but this is not in our system. Capacity is our axiomatic. So this is not considered as state space. Okay. So our state space is, you see the variable here. In our here, we have only one variable. Okay. So our initial, we are going to initialize that value. So how to do or how to start with initial state? Okay, you do. Now you have to start using the schema diagram or schema symbol already. Okay, start from state space. The schema symbol here need to use already. Either you use ZGitHub or ZWork tools, you will have this symbol. So you have to start using this symbol already. So the name init car park. So I will use this name for my initial state here. Yeah. So I use the same name given to us already. So now I want to initialize variable from the state space. Okay, I want to initialize variable from the state space. This one. Of course, this one very straightforward. You can just copy paste there. But if let's say you have 10, 20 variable, I don't copy paste. Okay, of course you can. For Microsoft, easy copy paste. That easy lah. Copy paste. I know. But it's not how to say in terms of referring to that is not a good way lah. Okay. So another one that we have to do is what we call as schema inclusion. Okay. So how to do? I will put using the schema name of state space schema just copy into your initial state there. So this is what we call as schema inclusion. Okay, this is what we call as schema inclusion. What it means actually, whatever, when you do the state space name here, when you put the state space name, you are actually copying whatever that you have in your declaration, but in your state space schema lah, into init car park schema. You are copying all the information there. You copy. That is the meaning of that. You include lah everything lah. You include everything. So it's similar like you copy lah. Okay. Okay ah. So when you do init car park, you just put the name of the schema here. Okay ah. Just put the name. That's all. No need to add other things. And from here, you have only one variable cars here. What you have to do, you just put cars in the predicate part. You put equal. Small letter, make sure that the variable, because you use both, they will change to capital letter. So you see the type. The type is a basic type. If you want to show that the car park is empty, okay, so the information in our database also must be empty, right? Then we know it's empty lah. So how to show empty? Using what symbol? Empty. How to show empty?
Empty set.
Empty set, yes. Because this is a basic type, it is a set. So you use empty set. That's all. Okay, so that's how you do the initial state lah. Okay, that's how you do the initial state. Okay. But of course, if you have many, then here will be many lah. The below part will be many lah here because we have only one. Okay, here we have only one. So now,
Miss, can I write the number of cars is 0?
number of cars equals to 0. Can. But can also you want to do like this to change this one rather than you want to do like this.
Yes.
Can also. Can also. Okay, either one lah. Okay. So it's up to you. Okay. Here okay lah because cars, but when it comes to others, so maybe you better go for empty set lah. Empty set is empty already. Okay. No need to use other symbols, but you can. You can do here or you can use this one. Okay, it's up. Which one you prefer lah? Which one you prefer? As long as we want to show it's empty lah. Okay. So now, so after initial state one only one state space, one initial state. That's all. If you have two module, two state space, two initial states. That's all. Okay. So after your initial state, then we are going to do the operation schema. Okay. We are going to do operation schema. So now let's look at the question here. The first one here. Okay. For B here, we are going to do operation schema here. Enter car park. Okay. So you have to start draw this symbol. Enter car park. The name given to us already. Enter car park. Okay. Capacity. Okay. So now, if I want to enter car park, what? Okay, if I want to allow a car to enter car park, right? So if the car can enter the car park, is there any update to my database? Let's say the car park block A here 200 capacity, because we put 200 just now. Okay. Now early in the morning, one car come in, one car. So actually now we have 50 occupied already the car. So now there's one more car want to enter the car park. Okay, so if you want to allow this car, because still okay, we have 250 only inside the car park, right? So the car can enter, right? So if the car enter to the inside the car park, is there any update to our database or not? Just now 50, now become 51 already, right? Plus 1 car, right? So, means that our database will have an update. Just now 50 become 51. So, there is an update in terms of the information that we store inside our database. Okay, because we have to keep all the information of car enter our car park. Because we have to make sure that cannot exceed 200. So when you allow one car to enter the car park, there is an update to our database. So when there is at least one update in your database data, this is where your operation schema will be changed state schema. Okay? If there is one update, okay, one update at least if let's say you have 10 variable, only one variable update. The rest does not update. Okay, only one variable update. But still, there is an update to your database data. We still go for the change state operation schema. So you see, we have to use delta symbol. Okay, so how to show that? Here, we put delta symbol. Okay, our database is communicate through our state space schema. So from here, then we put our state space schema name. So what you are actually doing here, you are telling other people that there is an update to your database data. Okay, car park system is to communicate with your database. Okay, so when you do delta car park system, you are telling people that there is an update. Final after you have done with this enter car park, the original data will have an update. This is what it means by this statement. Okay, so this statement means when this operation enter car park is done, after you finish with this operation enter car park, you are telling other people that your database data will have an update. This is what you mean by this statement. Okay, so that is one. So now you want to start your operation. Okay, how to show that there is an update? You cannot just simply this. Okay, then end. Cannot. There is a process to show there is an update. Okay, there is a process. So, when you want to allow the car, let's say now you have 50 cars parked at the car park already. Okay, 50, 50, and there's one car comes in. Okay, so first thing that you have to do, if you want to allow the car to enter your car park, do you want to get that information of the car there? Do you want to save that information or not into our data? That car information, do you want to store inside database or not? If you want to allow that car to enter the car park, you need that information of the car. It doesn't matter model, the driver, doesn't matter. We just say that information of the car, you want to keep right into your database. Because if you didn't keep, then the car insert, still 50, 50, 50, actually now to 100 already. Cannot. So it means that wherever the car that want to enter the car park, you have to keep the information. Okay, so when you want to keep the information, you must get the information into your system, right? So meaning that if you want to get that information put inside your system, it becomes the input to your system. Okay? Because you want to, let's say, you want to keep the plate number of the car. Your car here, the car just now is plate number. Okay, the car information is plate number. So you want to get the plate number stored inside your database. So means that before you can store, you need that plate number as your input into your system. So when it is an input, then you must declare input variable. Okay, you must declare your input variable. So input variable with what kind of symbol? Input variable. What is the declaration for input variable? Question mark. Okay, question mark. So this is where, in this question actually given to you already, car. So declare car question mark like that, colon. Okay. So, what type? Integer, string, or what? Okay, so you want to store here. So how you want to know the type? You look at your database. You go back to your state space. Your variable that you are going to update is cars. This is linked to the database. So what is the type? Car. So you follow the type here. Because you cannot have integer stored as a string. Different already. Okay, you cannot have free type stored as string. Different. So you have to make sure that when you want to store the data in the database will be the same type. Okay, so in this case it's car. So your input also must be car. Okay. Do you need power set or not for this one? What do you think? Do you need power set or not? What do you think? The car enter one by one or 10 biji sekaligus? What do you think? One by one. So when one by one, then you don't need power set. It's a single car. One by one is a single variable. So you don't need power set. Okay? So you just put car. So this is what we call as your programming. If let's say you are talking about programming, this is what we call as local variable. Right, your variable, right? You know that local variable, right? Okay? So same case like programming. So this is something like local variable. Okay? So local variable. Okay, so you have done that. You declare. You may have more than one input variable, but for this case, because a very simple one, you have one input variable for this case. So now, we have declared our variable. Okay, like you normal programming lah. You declare your variable, then before you can add your data into database, you must check. Okay, first thing that you have to check is if you want to allow the car to enter your car park, the plate number cannot exist yet in your database. Okay, must not exist yet. If already parking, then car come in and then you might need what happened? If let's say the car already exists, then there is another plate. There must be something wrong with your system. So in order for you to allow the car to enter the car park, this car must not exist yet in your database. So how to show that? The car that want to enter the car park does not exist yet in your database. How to show that? What kind of symbol that you have to use here?
Set does not belong to.
So what is the symbol? Okay, so means that car is not a member of cars. Okay, because this is our database data, cars just now. This is the car that we are going to check. So the car that want to enter our car park cannot exist in our database yet. Okay, cannot exist in our database yet. So another condition in the question, capacity has not been reached. That means if you say already 200, then you cannot allow the car to enter the car park. Full already. Okay, so how to show that statement? How to show that? How to show that? Any of you?
Count of the cars less than capacity.
Yes, hashtag cars less than capacity. Okay, because we need to use hashtag because capacity type is n, number, integer. Here cars just now is car, different. So we want to calculate, we have to use hashtag. Okay, we have to use hashtag here. So hashtag car less than capacity. Why not put less or equal? Can I put less or equal? Less than or equal? The line here. Cannot. Why? Yes, correct. Because when you put equal means 200 equal to 200, you cannot let the car enter again. Okay, so that's why here the symbol must be less than. Okay, so when you do checking, you have to check for every possible condition. So for this one, actually done. with the condition already. So after you have done that, then you have to update your database already. You cannot simply stop here. This one is precondition only. It means that you check your condition. Then now, you allow the car to enter the car park. Okay? When you allow the car to enter the car park, you have to update your database. You cannot simply leave 50-50 like that. And cannot. So you have to make sure that your database from 50 become 51 cars already. Okay? So you have to update your database. So how to update? Okay, so this is where, okay, remember type declaration that you learned last week or last 2 weeks? You have 3 type declaration, right? Question mark for input, exclamation mark for output, and then another one prime for update or changes. Okay, so in order for you to update, you have to use prime symbol. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, if I want to add car into the database, what symbol can use here? What do you think the symbol that I need to use if I want to add car here into my database here? What is the symbol that I need to use here? What? Intersect? Subset? What do you think? If I want to add this together. Union. Yes. So you do car union like that. Okay, this is what you have to do. Okay, you see this is data. Here, remember I said to you, on the left side is okay not to put curly braces. Here I put curly braces. Why? Okay, so this statement means that, okay, this is my old data because I'm comparing with the old data. Cars here is 50 cars just now. Union car here means I combine with the new car enter. So it should be 51. Should be 51 cars in my database. So in our programming also normally you have another variable to store this data, right? Variable that you down the answer there, right? Like programming sum equals to num1 plus num2. You do that, right? Normally in your programming, right? So sum is your variable that you store the data inside that. So same thing here, you need to do something like that also. So the new variable that you are going to use, you have to put in front here called cars prime. Okay? So cars prime here is the updated database. The prime here. Okay? The cars prime here means the updated database. So meaning that the new database for car will consist of total 50 just now, union with the new car become 51. Okay? So you have to put prime here. If you didn't put prime, wrong. Because it's like old. So now what you are doing is the latest data here in your database consists of old car plus with the new car enter into the car become 51, for example. Okay, so when you do hashtag car after that, the answer will be 51 already. Okay, so prime here is to show the updated data. Okay, so normally you use question mark, prime, and also exclamation mark inside the operation schema. Inside the operation schema. Okay? So you see just now inside your state space, no symbol for this one. In your operation schema, you will have that symbol. Okay? So this one. So now, let's say I want to depart from the car park. Left the car park. Okay, so same thing lah. Actually, I need the input which car that will depart the car park, and then provided that at least one car in the car park. Okay, so use the same symbol. Okay, depart car park. Depart car. Car park. I use the same thing. P here capital letter, I think I accidentally type P capital letter. That's okay lah. I didn't realize until just now. Is it what? P capital letter. That's okay lah. Should be small letter. Okay, but I will follow this one. Okay. So when you want to allow the car to leave the car park, okay. So is there any update to our database or not? Yes, because now the car leave the car park already, so update database. Okay, so we have to use delta symbol also. This is one. And then, of course, you need to know which car that is going to leave the car park. So same thing, you are going to have local variable like this. Yeah? Yeah? So now, if you want to allow the car to leave the car park, what is your condition that you have to check?
Belong to the car park.
Yes, the car must exist in our database. If the car does not exist, how to allow the car to leave the car park? So it means that the car must exist. So this symbol in our database. Okay, must exist in our database. Okay, next one. We have to make sure that there is at least one car in our database. If empty, how to do this one? So there must be at least one car in the database. How to show that? How to show that? Use hashtag
More equal.
car, yes. Greater or equal, this one, one. You can have space, no space, doesn't matter. Okay, total number of cars must be minimum one in our database. Okay, so after you have done that, then you have to update, right? Then the car left the car park. So just now we have 51, one car left, now becomes 50 already. Okay, become 50. So we have to update our database to make sure we have removing the car that left our car park. So we have to remove that data from our database. So what is the symbol that we need to use if we want to remove our database? What do you think? Union is to add. But if let's say I want to remove the car, it's not union anymore. So what is the symbols that you are going to use here? What do you think? Huh? Sorry?
Minus.
Huh?
That slash thingy.
Backslash, yeah? Backslash, not slash, yeah, backslash. This one. Okay, set difference. Okay, set difference. Okay, not slash, yeah, backslash. Okay, so this is to remove the data. Okay, this is to remove the data. Okay. Okay, any questions here? Oh, okay, can follow. Okay, the next question. If let's say somebody asks you, how many available space in the car park? Similar like you go to shopping complex, there's information there, 20 free space like that, right? So you want to know that 20 space to appear on the screen. Okay, you want to get that value. So if you want to do that, in this case, we call as in our schema here, call space available. For example, I follow the name. Oops. Okay, follow the name to know how many empty space available here. So if I want to know how many empty space in my database, in my parking, is there any update to my database or not? No, I just want to know only how many free space. That's all. I don't add any data. I don't remove. I don't do anything. So it means that there is no update to my database data. So when there is no update into my database data, this is where your query state schema comes in. Okay? So from there, you have to use notation. This simple, Z notation. Because you are telling that there is no update with your information inside the database. No update. Okay? So after that, same thing. Use the same state space schema. Okay? No update. When you have this, you are telling people that your database data will not have an update at all. Okay? But of course, you want to share the result, right? You want to show, 20 space, 30 space, 1 space only available. So you want to show the output. So this is where your variable output exclamation mark must be declared. So in this case, it's stated here, space here. It shows to us out the space already lah. So, okay. So I put space. Okay. What is the type here? Okay, number of available parking space. Number. Integer, right? Integer. So our variable will be n. Okay? So our variable will be n. Okay? So how to produce available space? What is your formula to produce available space? So space equal to capacity minus cardinality cars. Okay? So you can use formula, but because capacity is n, space is n, no problem. But cars is car, so that's why you have to do cardinal. Okay? So that's how you provide. So you can use formula now, whatever the plus minus or opposite, you have to start learning, remember how to create formula. Okay, so let's say I have a schema. Okay, I copy this one. Assuming that I want to have a schema. Call update car. Where car information is to be say I want to have a schema called update car, where a car information is to be updated accordingly. Okay. So let's say you key in a car. Let's say the plate number ABC123, but actually should be ABC124. Accidentally typed. Okay, for example, so you want to update, you want to put ABC123. So you want to update the car information. Okay, So if you want to update the car information, do you have any changes to our database or not? Yes, you want to update, must have changes. So
operation.
Okay, so it's operation schema. Okay, you have to use delta. So the name is update. Okay, so I will just use this one. So I need to know which car that I want to update also. Okay, so I want to know which car to be updated. So now, what is the precondition that you have to do here before you can update the car?
The car exists.
The car must exist. If the car does not exist, how to update? So the car must exist in our system. Do you need to check the capacity or not? No need, because it's already in our system. So the capacity is not important anymore. Okay, capacity is important if you want to let the car enter the car park. But it is not important if you want to update the car park. Update the car information . Okay? So now, if I want to update, what is the symbols to update the database? What will be the symbol to be used here to update the information? What do you think? What do you think?
Did you find my wallet here?
No.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, what is the symbol that we have to use here? What do you think? Can we use union? No, union is to add. If you use backslash, it's to remove. So another symbol that you can use is override. Okay, another symbol that you can use is override. So override here means update. Okay, override here means update. Okay? Any questions here? For question number 2, you try to do that on your own, see whether you understand or not. For the books question. But of course, next week tutorial, we will look at tutorial 5. But if you have any question, then we will look at tutorial question here. See how whether you understand or not. Okay? So any question about this? Any question? Okay? Yeah? Okay, so I think if no question, we will end our class for today. For those who have not signed in the code,